Alright, gonna try to do a quick one today. This is a D+A Maverick 250, older one that somebody gave me for a song and a dance. A local friend of mine didn't want to mess with it, or don't got time, or disinterest. You know how that go. You lose interest in this stuff, and he gave it to me for a song and a dance, basically. And you know, for the price he gave it to me, I couldn't resist, and I'm gonna start playing with it and rebuilding it and cleaning it. But before I start, this one has the ham bands in it. You know, you can see the band switch here with no knob on it: 10, 15, 20, and 40. That's the meters. And while I'm on the meters, any amp that's got 10 meters, unless it's got a special circuit in it, a filter in it to block 11 meters, like a SB221, and I can't think anymore, but unless it's got a crazy special circuit in it to block 11 meters specifically, any amp that will tune up on 10 meters will tune up on 11 meters. It's, you know, that's just the way it works. But anyway, that's what this was about. This is the tank coil. Right here, that's your tune cap with the wide spaces, and always going to be the load cap with the narrow spaces. The tune cap needs to handle double the voltage of the power supply, so it's always going to be wider. And the load cap works on about 1/3 of the voltage on the power supply, so double the volts of the power supply, about 1/3. So your tune is going to be wide spaced to handle the voltage, and your load is going to be a lot narrower space because there's a lot less voltage that goes through it. But anyway, that's the tank coil again, and the I guess plate side coming out the tubes is always the one on your tune cap, and you can see the tune cap here again, and they're basically connected together right here. And these are your band taps as you go along. And I said earlier that most CB amps are just about all you need, about 4 turns of a coil that's a good size. And you will see here 1, 2, 3, 4 coils, and this is a decent size coil. 4 turns, and that's your 10 meter band. So if you wanted to convert this amp for a CB band 10, 11 meters, all you would need is from the beginning here up to this tap here, and then you could like cut it off after this tap, and you would not need any of the rest of this coil for 10 meters or 11 meters only. This tap here is the 15 meter cap, 2 coils up. And basically kind of the way it works is as you go down in frequency, as you go up in meters, or up in the band, you're actually going down in frequency. So 15 meters is lower than 10 meters, and etc., etc. And 6 meters is higher in frequency. But anyway, from 10 meters to 15 meters is half, and it's basically half more coils. So we had 4 turns of the coil here to go to 15 meters. You see 2 more coils. And to go to 20 meters, it's basically 4 more coils. And then go to 40 meters, it's like double all those coils. So you almost, you know, not exactly, but in general, you almost double the amount of coils as you double the frequency in the band, or go down in frequency again. But anyway, the point I wanted to make was for a CB amp, well, pretty much any one you see, give or take, depending on the size of the coil and how closely they're spaced together, has a lot to do with it too. But in general, for CB band, you're only going to need 4 turns of coil. And about every amp that I know of for 10 meters and 11 meters, which, you know, is going to be the same coil, they're that close, you're going to need 4 turns. So I just wanted to show that here before I jump to it. I'll probably get rid of that because basically from what I've heard, these amps don't work on the ham bands anyway. You know, they won't load up on them correctly, and you know, they're made for 4-watt drive, CV drive, and most ham radios do 100, so it's pretty involved, you know, trying to get one of these things to work right on the ham bands anyway. And then down here, these are the driver tube tank circuit, and if we come over here, you know, driver tune, driver load, and even though they're spaced about the same on this one, but and normally also while I'm on these, the tune cap is going to have less fans or less capacitance than the load cap, because the tune cap needs to handle higher voltage, and the load cap is going to be lower voltage, but it's going to need more capacitance to work correctly. But anyway, this is the driver tank coil, and again you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, actually it's 5 turns on this one, so pretty close. And then all these are the different bands. That would be the switched in for the, you would go off this one into that one for 15 meters, and you would go bypass that one and go to that one for 20 meters, and then that one over here for 40 meters is how it works. So if you're going 10 meters only, you could again, you know, cut it here, and then take the output here and go all the way across to the load cap here and bypass the band switch, and that would convert this amp. You would need to do it for the drivers and the finals on it to convert it over to 10 meters only. So that's what I wanted to show in part 1. In part 2, there's somebody on Facebook talking about they put in connectors on all the coaxial pieces, talking about, you know, SO239s, which are these, you know, you got too much loss with the regular CB, and ham radios use it almost exclusively too, except for the higher frequencies or higher power. You know, these work fine, and he was saying no, he converts his to in, and you know, because he gets low loss out of these. And I'm like, well, that's not really your problem when you got loss or you got a lot of pieces in line. And what the problem is, it's not these connectors really, but it's what happens after all these connectors on the inside. You know, let's start at the input here. You know, yeah, you got the connector, but then it goes to this solid silver plated wire over here to the relay. That's your input. And then also on the relay, it's picked off of this capacitor here, which is in line, and that goes to the tube keying circuit over there. That's what feeds it. So you're going to have that connected to your input coax. You're going to have this solid wire here connected to the input of your coax. And then it's going to go into the relay, you know, on that back one over there. And then it's going to, when you're not keyed down, it's going to go through the relay contact on the input side. And then it's going to be looped around. And just about all amps have this kind of relay. You know, even if you use a vacuum relay and all that, this is how the circuit works. And then you loop it around. And then this one over this side is the output contact. And when you're not keyed down, it loops from the input over here to the output. And then through this contact, this third one here that my nail is rubbing up on. And then you got another solid silver plated wire over here to the output PL259. So even if you put the best no loss, you know, in connectors or whatever, you know, over here, which is a lot of work to, you know, those are bradded in, so you're going to drill those out and then put in some end connectors. All right, you know, I ain't mad at you, but it's a lot of work for nothing in my opinion, because again, even with those, you still got on each piece of equipment, and you know, even a switch box, you know, works like this. It goes, you know, through stuff like this to a switch, and then it goes in the switch and out the switch and back out, or a preamp, or you know, a driver amp, whatever. You got all this kind of stuff in line, you know, going into a relay. You got your pick off capacitor for the keying circuit. you know, inline. You got that loop around from the in to the out, and then you got another wire, you know, going out to your connector there. So it's not the connectors, it's all this other crap that's gonna be, you know, in line with the connectors. And you know, that's what it is, not the end connectors. To me, that's a crazy waste of time and of money, you know. Not a total waste, but I would put my money and time into other things, like, you know, maybe put a vacuum relay in here to do that. But vacuum relays aren't cheap. But, you know, end connectors, nah, man. A lot of money for nothing. What you gonna do? Put an end connector on the CB and switch box and all that other stuff? Whole lot of money, whole lot of work, very little gain. And I'm all for getting the best bang of your buck. So anyway, that's my comment on that guy on Facebook talking about he puts end connectors on his. Whoop-de-doo, you know. What do you do for this? You know, going in and out, what you gonna do? Put Teflon coax, vacuum relay, all that other stuff? All that for very little, very, very little gain. You know, just leave it alone. I clean the relays and keep it moving. That's me. All right, that's it for this one. Bye.